Hey guys, welcome to another Design to Manufacture channel video where today we're looking at Ultimaker Cura. Here on our channel, we're trying to take you guys through the design and manufacture steps needed. So in our last couple of videos, we've been designing a 3D model on Fusion 360. Today we're going to be setting that file up for printing. All right, through a standard FDM 3D printer. All right. Cura is a free piece of software that you can use to do any of your 3D printing, depending on its presets. As you can see here, I've got mine set up for a Creality Ender 3 Pro, which is my home printer that I've had for a long time when I was starting to learn how to use 3D printing. So this is what I've got it set up as, and it will automatically load all the presets for my printer. If you don't have an Ender 3 Pro, or when you're setting up this software, it is simple as adding printers. Right, for most people, it'll probably be a non-Ultimaker printer, and then you can add non-network printers here. And you can see the Ultimaker ones that are listed at the top. There's some custom ones, and then you can see printers by all different makers as we go down. This is not every type of 3D printer. There are a few that I know for sure aren't on here. So for example, Bamboo Labs, they don't have a preset on Cura. There are other free software that you can use for that one, and we'll go through that in later videos. But for now, this is how you would set up a non-network printer. And if you had a network printer, obviously over the network, you'd be able to find it through those options. All right, that's enough on setting the printer. Now we're going to work out how to use this software. All right, so first things first is we're going to want to load in our 3D model. I'm going to show you what a good 3D model and a bad 3D model are going to look like on a print. So we're going to set this up twice. It's going to help you guys work out how to insert your files in here and how to set them up. So we're going to start with the bad file first, and we're going to go to our folder over here. All right, and that will open up my files. You can see that I've already got it set up, so it's in my downloads. All right, and I'm going to open up the untitled one that I've got here. Now, for those of you that were watching last time, this is the file with my nameplate and the ring attached. And this is a bad file for a few reasons. I'm going to show you why to begin with. I'm going to show you why in a second. Obviously, we can have a look at the views. We can zoom in with the thumb wheel. We can sort of go around and we can see, all right, how this is going to look. Now, 3D printing starts by printing a layer at the bottom and then adding a layer up on top of itself. All right. So anything that you want to sit well on a bed, this is the bed here, by the way. Anything you want to sit well on the bed will not need supports. And if you've got holes, because plastic can't start printing midair, you'll generally have to have supports for it. The more supports in your project, the more cleanup you're going to have to do once you've printed it, and it can just be a real hassle. So I'm going to show you guys a couple of tips, tricks, and whatnot to get your print set up so you're not doing as many supports. All right, the first one of those is being able to rotate my shape. So right now it's printing these little skinny layers and they're going to go up, and then I've got this big floating ring up here, which isn't particularly handy for me. All right, so I can rotate my shape, all right, around, all right, and I can see that once I've rotated that to 90, it automatically snaps the lower surface to the bed, all right, and this is why this is a bad file, but you can see that my ring sits well below the design, so I can't change one of these items over the other one. All right, it's how the file was uploaded. You can put more than one file on here, but you can only modify them as a single file. So you can see that if I flip that, this ring is going to print nicely on the base, but this is all going to need supports underneath it before it can start making that. That's why this one is a bad file. All right, and I'll show you, and that's pretty much why we're not going to use this one for anything other than showing you how a bad file can really stuff up your printing. All right, so I'm going to delete this by hitting delete on my keyboard, get rid of that, and I'm going to open up the better file, which is one named name tag, which I have taken the ring out of it. Now, same deal, I'm going to rotate this. I'm just going to flick my view so I can grab the handle a little bit better. All right, and you can see that is a lot nicer now. All right, my job's sitting flat on the bed. All right, and I don't have any waste around it. All right, so that's the difference between a good and a bad file. And you can see how easy it is to rotate an object. You can lay it flat, and you can select a face to align to the build plate. So there's a few different ways to do that. We can also scale our model. So if we don't like the overall size, at the moment you can see it's 51 millimeters by 26 millimeters by 3 millimeters, which is exactly what we drew it up as. If we wanted to scale that to 90%, we can change that percentage. And by doing that, it will just scale all of my measurements accordingly when it's in uniform scaling, so that it doesn't stretch or distort. If I untick this box, it will only change one of the dimensions. So that's just a handy thing to know if you're going to change the size of something after you've designed it, or it might be something you didn't design. It might be a file that you've downloaded off Thingiverse or Cults or anything like that you want to scale. All right. Then this is our mirror option. We're not going to play around with that today. That's a little bit more advanced. All right. And that's pretty much it. We have our move option as well. So if you want to set something to a different spot on your build plate, for example, on my Ender 3, I've had the most luck printing in this front left-hand corner. So usually if it's a small model, I'll print on that front left-hand corner. It's usually just the better part, the part that I've got zeroed a little bit better. So that's why I do that. If you've got a nicer print or a more up-to-date printer with self-leveling and all that sort of stuff, it's probably not going to matter too much where you set it. But the front left for me is the easiest spot to set up. So that's all we're going to really look at with the model modification now. All right. What else we can have a look at is these menus up here. So obviously this is my printer. I'm happy. This is the filament that we're using. So we can select different filaments here. All right. Most of my prototyping is done in PLA. So that's what I'm going to be setting this at. And my nozzle size for my Ender 3 is a 0.4mm nozzle. All right, if you've got a smaller or larger nozzle size, please make sure you change that so it's set up, because that can affect all your settings over here as well. So I'm happy with how that's set. That's set for what I need to do. But if you're using a different filament, make sure you flick that around. All right, and then we come to this setting over here. You can set, there are some preset profiles that go with this printer. So you can see there's a low quality, a standard quality, a dynamic quality, and a super quality. This measurement here, this 0.12, is how high each of the layers are. So the thicker a layer is, the less neat it's going to come out, basically. But it's going to print a lot quicker if you have less layers. So this is where we come into a balanced state. So you need to decide what quality you want to print out at versus what speed. Now, this printer isn't the quickest in the world, so I usually leave my prototypes at a low quality. That way it actually gets done in a reasonable time frame. If I was doing anything that wasn't just a prototype or a rough model, I might flick my quality settings over, but usually I'd just print them on a better machine that I'd have at work. So low quality will run this one for me, right? But we can also make modifications to the file or to this preset in these menus down here. One biggest one that I would look at if you've got a model that needs support is generating support. All right, so you just click that and you can select what sort of support structure you want. You have a normal or a tree. We might have a look and slice both of those. I'm going to leave it normal for now. I don't think that this will run a support for this file. The only spot it might do is around the filleted corners. So I'll leave it there. We'll see if it runs. And if it doesn't, we'll do another video later on down the track with how to generate supports. All right, the next thing that we've got here is build plate adhesion. So I've got mine set up for a skirt, which basically makes a thin layer of plastic around the outside of my design. And that's there to help the design stick to the printer bed. The larger the surface area on the bed, the less likely it is to lift up or come off. So I will generally have a skirt set for this device because I don't have a textured base. So sometimes the prints do fail by lifting up. So a skirt is just a nice, easy thing to break off that I can use to help fix that. If you were going to have lots of small things, you might want a raft, which would join those things together. It adds a bit more layer, a bit more cleanup. But for this print, a skirt would be plenty. And that's what I'd have running. All right. My printer doesn't have dual extrusion, so I don't have to worry about those settings. Cooling settings is where you can change your fan speed. Travel settings is usual retraction and Z hops. Print speed, you can change your millimeters per second. As you can see, this printer is pretty slow as a generic. It's 50 millimeters a second. All right. Material. This gives us our printing temperature and our build plate temperature. The Ender 3 has a heated build plate, so that is an option. If you don't have a heated build plate on your printer, then that won't be there. Infill is the other big thing for me. All right. I don't like running anything above a 15% infill density if it doesn't need to be structural. And I'm quite partial to having a like a triangle or a trihexagon or something like that as my fill. You can have lines and grids and all that sort of stuff. It really depends. Some of them have pros, some of them have cons, and we might do a video on that later on down the track. I'm just going to set this one up triangles for today. All right. And this is my layer thickness. So you can see I'm not going to have much infill anyway. Plus my bottom layer is 1.12. My top layer is 1.12, which means that my infill is only going to be about 3 layers thick. So this is nearly going to be solid. All right, I'm actually going to change this. Just set the top layer and bottom thickness to 1 millimeter. That way I have a millimeter of infill. It's just going to reduce how much filament that I actually generate or use, and we'll see how that goes. We can also change our wall thickness here too. So it's 0.8 of a millimeter this time. So 2 lines, and the quality is that layer height. They're all the settings you can change. You can play around with this, optimize it, get it working for your printer. All right, and once you're happy, you can hit this slice button here. When we hit slice, you can see that it tells me that it's going to take 30 minutes to print, and it's going to use 4 grams of my filament, which is not much on my 1 kilo roll. And now I can preview my print. All right. And you can see, all right, I'm going to get rid of the print settings here, that I have 11 layers in total. And if I drag down through the layers, you can see what it's doing each layer as it's coming up, and you can find any issues that you're going to have as it comes up through the design. All right. You can also go through where the tool is. All right. So you can have a look at the tool path, where it's going, what it's doing for each layer as well. So you can see on this layer, it does the outside edges of all of the shapes. All right. Does any tidy up that it needs to do on those edges, and then it will just start printing the surface. All right. That's really, really neat. It's a nice thing that most of these processors do. And if I was happy with that, for my printer here, the Ultimaker 3, sorry, not the Ultimaker 3, the Ender 3 Pro, It doesn't have a network option, so I have to save anything to a micro SD to put it onto the printer, so I can save it to a disk, take it over there, and that will save me a G-code file. All right, that's about all there really is to this 3D printing. There's not a lot to this software. There's a lot of settings, but you can sort that out and have a play around with it at your own speed. I hope this was really informative for you guys. I hope you learned a little bit about setting up a model for 3D printing. We'll talk about some other tips and tricks when we go through some of our other slicing software. And we will catch you guys again later. Now, if anyone would like this model, this design to manufacture key tag, please comment. And if I get enough comments, then I will set up the STL for everyone to download from my website. Other than that, I'll catch you guys in the next video and enjoy.